any sort of direct correlation between an open date and a strong shooting performance after that?
Yeah, I think anytime you have some time to get legs up under you and you get some time to rest, obviously it helps with your shooting from week to week. But if you look, before that we were shooting the ball pretty well going into the break, and then just to come out and have a performance like that, obviously, is really inspiring. But it was more so, I think it was great for the guys just to get their legs up under them, get a little bit of rest, get some time to more than physical, to get a little mental and emotional relief from having that time off and go out and have an outing like that.
How big was it for Jordan Gainey to see a couple of those threes go down late in the game in a big moment?
It was big because he had some open shots in the first half that he didn't connect on. And I think everybody knows by now how reliant we are on his consistent production. Like, we need him to score the ball. We need him to be aggressive when he comes off the bench. So it was great, him coming off and making those shots. Obviously, they were super timely, and we needed them. So we were excited to see that. We need him to continue that, honestly, especially as we get into this last stretch of SEC play. But it was big. It was big for all of our guys to have a performance like that.
How have you seen Chaz adjust as the SEC season has gone along?
Yeah, I mean, he's done a really good job of adjusting. And, Coach said it the other day, I think he's seen every defense that you can see. He's been taken out, he's been held, grabbed. It's funny, every game we always talk about, like, him having to tuck in his jersey 3-4 times because he's pulled every time he comes off the screen or anything. But, he's been adjusting and doing a good job fighting through contact, understanding he has to give a little bit of aggression when it comes to driving to the rim. Obviously he had that left-hand dunk going to the rim the other day, which was obviously a big surprise to all of us. But it was, we know he can do it though. We've seen him do it. Just need him to consistently do it. But it was good to see him have a night like that.
This team talks a lot about playing with effort. How much would you say Jahmai's putbacks really highlighted that type of effort?
The first thing I said to Coach when we got back off the floor back in the locker room, I said the two biggest plays were his tip ins. And our staff, we all agreed, like, those are huge. And those were his two baskets. But that's why, we see the stuff, not all of us, I see some of the stuff on social media or guys, our best lineups are this, and Jahmai Mayshak does this offensively and all this other stuff. And I get it, like, analytics can say a lot of things, but when you're in the heat of the battle and you're in these games, to say that, we're better when Jahmai Mayshak's not on the floor is kind of, I hate to use this word, but stupid. It just kind of is. Like, we finished the game with 4 guards, he was on the floor, and we were playing a massive, huge team, and he's at the 4, and we're just fine defensively. And he's on the floor, obviously, to win the game. So, I don't, not to insult anybody that has their opinions, because there's nothing wrong with that, but yeah, that's not accurate. So,
Coach, how big of a boost can it be for the guys? I mean, you won a game basically 10 days in exactly the same fashion. Coach was really critical of the last 5 minutes Kentucky. Same scenario presents itself on the road, and your guys come through in the clutch. How much positive reinforcement is that?
We have an older team, really mature guys. They care. I think that's a big thing with any team is you want guys that can care, but they're all really competitive, right? And so we've had some times where we haven't been able to finish off some close games, and obviously it hurt. But guys learn from it. I say with this group, man, I think we're around them so much and we're together so much, and we've been through all these wars and all these games, and you forget that they've really only been playing basketball together for about 5 months, honestly, as far as games. So they're learning how to go through battles with each other. Last year's group was a group of guys that have been together for years and went through a lot of wars together, whereas this group was trying to find continuity with each other. And the only way that you build character to get through those tough games is being in those tough games. So now's the time of year that you hope guys can learn from the Vanderbilt games and the Kentucky games and some of those games that we kind of let get away late. You want to see the habits come out, right? And that's what we were able to do the other night against Texas A&M, and it was good to see, man. I thought our guys, they showed how tough they are. It was like one of those vintage tough guy wins that we've had. It felt like kind of on the road at Illinois. We just made those tougher plays at the end of the game, and we made some really big shots, obviously. So that was great to see, and we hope that it continues.
How much is Igor's calf bothering him right now?
I think he's all right. He seemed like he's been progressing, getting through it. been getting treatment, but it's not bothering too bad.
Then what is the key for him to maybe get back on that track of how he was playing at Rupp in a couple of games before that trip?
Yeah, he's just got to lock in defensively, pay attention to detail a little bit better. I think Igor's had a couple breakdowns early in games, some things we went over defensively. But, you know, like I said to him yesterday, it's not a lack of care. It's like Igor cares too much, right? He cares a lot, and emotionally he can get riled up because he really wants to do well for his team. And he's an ultimate teammate. He's really good about trying to get locked in before the game and making sure that he's doing the right things. But sometimes I think he can kind of like he can kind of just overwork himself to where he's overthinking and trying to help this guy here and then breaking down on here. So we just got to get him calm down and understanding that you know, everybody has a job to do. We know that he wants to do his job at the highest level, but he doesn't have to be the guy that makes the play all the time. His teammate will make the play for him to make sure he's in the best position as possible too. So he's learning that, and he's getting better, man. He's been great.
It's been different about LSU these last couple of weeks.
I mean, you know, last game Florida came out and really took it to him, kind of punched them in the mouth early, and then they responded with a 22-2 run. And usually, I think that that's a testament to Coach McMahon and his staff. Usually at this time of year, when you know you have a record like they have, and guys find a reason to not play for anything because it's not a lot that they really have, right, that they can play for right now. But to see them go on a 22-2 run against a team like Florida, it just shows that they still have a lot of fight and they want to play good basketball. They want to be a competitive team. So this is not a game that we're walking into thinking that it's just going to be a walk in the park and they're just going to lay down. Like, we understand that they're still here to play basketball. They still want to be a force. They want to be respected in the league, right, as all teams do. You just saw that from South Carolina this past weekend. Like, they have every reason in the world to give up right now, and they still have it. So it's not any situation we can walk into and feel like that we're just going to walk out there, show up, and we're going to win the game. So we don't have that approach. We respect those guys. We expect them to give us a really good fight. We expect us to give them a really good fight. So
What stands out about Robert Miller?
yeah, we recruited Robert for a little bit. Robert's a really good player. He's about 6'9", 6'10", really good hands. He's long. He's athletic, super talented kid. You know, he comes from a really good family. Robert's a really good player. He's somebody we're definitely focused on. Obviously, he had a really good outing last game, so it's going to be a lot of attention put on him. And when you're a freshman in this league and you have attention getting put on you from one of the best defenses in the country, that's a testament to the work he's put in and how good he's been.
What are the things you guys need to see as coaches in these next 2 weeks before heading into the postseason?
We need to see, obviously we want to get better with the start of games, understand how to come out with the right approach, having the same aggression early in halves that we do late in halves. We want to kind of start putting those things together. We want to be locked in defensively and put together full games, right? Now is the time of year where just having good halves is not really good enough, because if you go into the wrong game, just have one good half, it could get you, you know, sent home as we keep going for these couple of weeks. But just putting full games together, being locked in, attention to detail, scout reports, you know, confidence and guys playing faster when it comes to shooting the ball offensively. Thought we did a good job of that the other night. And really just continuing to get better, because this is that time of year, man. Like, everybody, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. Right now, I feel like everybody can agree we're getting better. We just got to continue on that path, make sure we keep, you know, going forward.
Coach, talk about the starts of games in the second half. How much of that is just Zakai? I mean, I know, you know, it's not all on him, but I mean, he's been so incredible in the second half. I mean, how much is him just flipping that switch and, you know, bring everybody with him when you guys have played better?
Yeah, no, he's been doing a good job of it. I hope he starts flipping the switch before the game starts. That'd be good too. It'd probably make it a little bit easier for us early in games. And he's been doing a good job, man. He's tough, obviously. You know, when he's playing good basketball, we're usually playing good basketball. So I jokingly, but I was kind of being serious the other day. I was like, hey, you know, instead of you guys like taking turns having piggyback rides off of each other and just somebody carrying the team, why don't we just all do it at the same time? So hopefully we can do that. I guess it's like easier said than done, but you know, hopefully we keep building towards that and getting better.
How beneficial was the midweek bye for the coaching staff to get out and go recruit and maybe stop by and see Dalton play as well?
That was a good question. It was good. It was good to refresh. honestly, like I said, even for the guys, it's not so much the physical load when you talk about like getting a break in the middle of the year. It's really the mental and emotional. When you get done with a game on Saturday, like we just got done with a game on Saturday, right? Your attention and your brain immediately goes to the next team that you have to play within 72 hours. So you don't get to, oh, we finished this game, now I can relax. It's never really like that. It's like, okay, now we got to get on to the next thing. So it was just good being able to play Vanderbilt and then knowing that we didn't really have to worry about anything for the next couple of days, and you get to go recruiting, obviously. And took a trip out to go see, to go recruiting, and then was able to take a little drive up to go see Dalton and play one of his games with the Lakers. So that was cool to see. It's good to see any of our former guys when they're kind of living out their dreams and going forward and being pros. So that was cool. He gave me one of his game jerseys, so I appreciate that. I'll put that in the frame as long as my daughter don't wear it as a dress.
What is time for last one here?
What is Cam Carter doing differently that's helped his numbers, improve career numbers, than he was doing at Kansas State a year ago?
You know what? Honestly, I don't. I think he's just as aggressive. I think he's just older and learning how to take his shots, get to his spots. And then obviously he's playing in an offense that really is predicated towards letting him play in a lot of ball screens and play freely and play with a faster pace. So Cam Carter's, I mean, you know, last 3 years he's been one of the better scorers in college basketball. He's a really effective player. Obviously, he plays with a lot of aggression, can really get to the rim, can really shoot the ball. So you look at his numbers, and as a scorer in the SEC, they're super efficient, which is impressive because as talented as these guys are, it's actually really hard to be efficient as a leading scorer in this league because you're number one on the scouting report. You know, everybody knows that you're a guy that's going to get the ball, you're a guy that's going to take shots. So the fact that he's been able to be efficient and be effective is pretty impressive. So we're definitely going into this game understanding he's a guy that we have to contain and make things tough on him, and that's our plan. We want to make things as tough as we can on him, and hopefully we come out on top at the end of the night.
Thanks, Rod.
Thanks, Rod.